Welcome to this episode of Mercy Can't Stop Her. I'm your host, Judith Kambia Obatusa, JKO. Last week, I prepared the episode, video and audio, and I had a technical problem that I could not fix the entire week. So this week, I'm actually repeating the same episode, but I'm just going to do the audio and then just do a little clip for video because I don't know what happened to the video, which was my audio and video together last week. So I'm hoping and I'm believing that you're going to really be blessed by today's episode. May is Mental Health Awareness Month in Canada. And in spite of the developments around mental health awareness around the world, women in the trenches of life are still discriminated against. People are still being discriminated against when they have mental health challenges. It is used to make decisions about them. It is used to treat them differently. As a Christian woman, it's even very, very hard in the church when people know that you're going through life's challenges that can make you depressed and anxious. What do? They talk about you. They exclude you, and they ask and they assume a lot about you. And when you're in those situations, it can be really, really hard. It can be really hard because our churches are supposed to be our safe spaces. If you cannot feel safe in church, if you cannot be welcomed because you're struggling, if you cannot be treated with equity in church, then where else can you go? Our churches are supposed to be safe spaces. And this can impact the way you think about things, which is why I want us to talk about self-reflection today. Self-reflection is our ability to think back about things that have happened and the way we have reacted or responded to them. Self-reflection is not self-vilification. It's not treating yourself badly because you did not do something in a particular way or you do not respond in a particular way. For example, when I was growing up, I used to have situations where I never have the right response. So people do things to me, talk badly to me, and in that moment, when it's happening, I have nothing I can say. I don't remember anything to say. But after the time, when I'm alone, I say, oh, I remember. Why did I not say this? Why not say this? It must be dumb. Then I'm thinking negatively about myself. I'm vilifying myself. That's not self-reflection. So the kind of self-reflection I'm talking about is positive. You use it to determine more positive ways you could handle a situation that has passed. You use it to strategize for your future, and you use it to recognize where your strengths lie in different situations. Self-reflection helps you identify where the stages of your life have changed. Or an example is, as a mom, God blessed me. He blessed me to be the mom of 5 children in this lifetime. 2 are gone now to our God. My firstborn, in particular, who died August 1st, 2023, is one that is always on my mind. Think about the things that happened to her. I think about the woman that I was when she was younger, how I was not as empowered as I am today, not as wise as I am today, not as emotionally equipped as I am today, and how that impacted the way that I treated her, the way that I related with her, the way that I spoke to her. I think about my youngest child and the way that I treated the way that I treated my youngest child at that same age when, for example, when we were younger, like 5, when my firstborn was like 10 years old, 12 years old, 15 years old, 16 years old. I think about the way that I treated her, and I think about the way I'm treating my youngest child, who's now getting into the late teens. And I see how different it was. Now, self-reflection. When I self-reflect, when I reflect on the way that I was, the kind of mother that I was to my late daughter, and the kind of mother I am to my younger son, my youngest, I just see a marked difference. Like when I'm talking to my son now, I don't yell. I used to be a yeller, and I found out when my healing journey started that I yell because of my frustrations with their father, which colors every other thing. It colored every other thing when I did not have control over decisions regarding myself, when I left the power in another person's hands. It frustrated me to no end because the decisions were not taken in my favor. I was not considered in those decisions. The truth is that decisions are still being taken outside of what is favorable to me. But because I recognize it now, I am not frustrated. I'm not frustrated. I understand myself more. So I know where I cannot continue. So when I self-reflect, I see how gentle a mother I am now compared to my daughter's time when she was around the same age with my son. I'm reflecting and I'm seeing how when I'm taking her to school that time, I'm complaining, I'm nagging, I'm telling her all the things she could have done. She didn't do this. You know, things that were of no value when I think back. I can't even remember what they were. They were not major things. In recent times, my son hasn't done something he was supposed to do, and I'm taking him to school, and the tone is different. I thought about the tone. When you self reflect, you can see those things happening in you, and you can see the areas where you still need to work on. And why I'm talking about self reflection today is not being self aware can really mess up our mental health. And it is true that people are not really uh, caring as much about other people's mental health. Yes, many organizations do mental health awareness week, mental health and awareness month. Many people are talking about it, but many people are still being mistreated because people know that they are struggling. So we can't depend on other people to be the ones that will help us become, navigate life with mental health challenges. So when I'm talking about self-reflection, it's just to help us be a little bit more empowered as we navigate life in the trenches. You know, I was talking about yelling and my tone when I talk to my daughter, and now my tone when I talk to my son. So let me give you an example of how this impacts us. How self-reflection helps us with our mental health. So, for example, when I raise my voice and I lose my cool, because I am now more self-reflective, I I never ever feel good. So after I finish losing my cool, I give my message to my son or whoever it is I want to give it to. I end up messing up my own internal balance. I've always been like that. But now because I'm more self-reflective, I recognize how this destabilizes me. And I no longer do it. So I'm not perfect yet, but I'm now more self-aware. So I'm able to control it better. So self-reflection helps you get to know yourself. You see, it's easy for us. It's actually our right to express ourselves to people. We can express ourselves by yelling at them. We can express ourselves by not expressing ourselves. That's by silence. We can express ourselves by using positive words or using negative words. There are so many ways we can express ourselves, but there is a way that works for each of us best. So, what's the best way of expression for you? What way of expression leaves your heart whole? What way of expression keeps your joy, helps you stay happy? What way of expression keeps your peace, protects your peace? If you recognize those, you will have a happier life. No one can take your joy. But if you're not self-reflective, you don't know what triggers you. You don't know what can mess up your day. So you basically give away your joy. So, for example, you continue yelling. You would yell all day. Let me tell you, I was a music minister. If people went to university with me or knew me when I was in university, can remember, so many of them knew me as a music minister. I had a wonderful voice. I still have relics of my voice, but I yelled away my voice. Now my voice is not as good as it used to be. I yelled and yelled and yelled and yelled and yelled at my children. I lost my cool. I was very hot-tempered. But the thing is that having that hot temper meant that my life had no peace. And even when I could no longer express my temper, it was a simmering fire, simmering coals burning in me and impacting me negatively, impacting my health, impacting my ways of relating. If you do not reflect on your actions, on your ways of being, your ways of doing, or your past interactions, you will continue to hurt yourself. The thing is, we started with talking about our mental health. The truth is that we cannot control the way people decide to treat us. Remember, I mentioned that a few minutes ago. Yes, you may be having a lot of challenges in your life that impact your mental health, that creates depression, anxiety around you. It's not because you deserve it. Even if you made a mistake that led you down this path that you found yourself on, you still don't deserve a life of trauma. You may not have been able to prevent yourself from being in these situations. And you cannot determine whether people will be kind to you, whether they will understand, even when they know all your challenges. They can still discriminate against you. But should you now decide that you're not worth it because they discriminate against you? Now, one of the things that self-reflection does for you, for our mental health, is that we can recognize our triggers. We can recognize where, if we had acted differently, we might have gotten better outcomes. We can recognize the areas where we make mistakes in the ways of our being, the ways of our doing, the ways of our speaking, the ways of our relating. By reflecting, we can recognize those places. We can also recognize where we did not make any mistake, but the other person has what they are dealing with that has made them treat us in a particular way. So when people discriminate against us, when they treat us negatively, we shouldn't always blame ourselves, believing that it's because we deserve it, because we're not good enough, because we're not smart enough. Look, the truth is you don't have to be smart enough to be treated well. You don't even have to be a good person to be treated well. People should treat other people well because they are human, because they have been created in the image of the Most High God. And let me tell you something. Many times, those of us who think we're not smart enough are actually very smart, maybe even smarter than those who are mistreating us. Another thing is that it may not also be because you are at fault, but because the person has a problem that they do not recognize. And when you reflect, you can see where that person misunderstood you for no reason. You can give them grace. You may not even see, but you just assume the best of them. Look, it is a choice, this Mental Health Awareness Month. So can I encourage you? Can I invite you to become more aware of your own mental health? Mental Health Awareness Month, everybody's talking about it. They're celebrating it. They're having a whole week in the month to just talk a lot about it in different organizations. And it's out there. Different organizations are sponsoring events and things around it. But you know what? No matter what other people do for us, we have to take control of our own mental health. You have to choose to be more aware of our own mental health. So you become more aware by self-reflecting on those things that trigger you, on those habits that have kept you in a rut, on those things you're doing that you have power over, things that can improve your life, actions you can take. I talked about the fact that self-reflection helps you to strategize. So by recognizing what can be improved, you strategize. You develop strategies to improve in those areas. In this Mental Health Awareness Month, I'd like to invite you to check it out. Yes, check out yourself. They say, come and check it out. Now I'm inviting you. Can I invite you actually? Will you let me invite you to check yourself out? Become more aware, become more aware. Become more aware of the things that make you lose your peace. It could be you making yourself lose your peace because of your reaction to something. And I'm very, very intentional when I use the word reaction. I believe it was Oral Roberts that wrote a book that talks about reaction and response. When we react, it's a negative, we're out of control. But when we respond, we are totally in control. We are more intentional. So in this Mental Health Awareness Month, this month of May, can we become more aware of when we are reacting and not responding? And when we are responding, not reacting? Can we, in this Mental Health Awareness Month, begin to do things differently by reflecting? Self-reflecting. And when you do this, messy won't stop you. Happy Mental Health Awareness Month. Happy Mental Health Awareness Month. Thank you so much for listening. See you next time.